Welcome to Tradespotting and another market update. This is the live show. Let me know if you've got any ticker requests and we'll get into the charts, get in amongst price action. It's the penultimate show before the 2 years without a break, never missing a trading day. Hit that like button and let me know if you want to look at anything. The answer to the joke, what do you call a dog magician, is a Labracadabrador. This is AQST. It's already up 287%. That's just common stock up 287%. This was the trade entry. It was one of the 5 and 5, so I delivered the trading opportunity with the entry, the stop loss, and various targets, all in less than 1 minute. Pays to tune in to Tradespotting shows, that's for sure. So AQST, big mover today. Also, we saw Tyson Foods, huge move. TSN, Tyson. Came back down here. New low. We're clearly in danger of losing support already, and earnings negative. So price action testing back into these prior deep lows. And Tyson Foods, the largest food company in the world. They were the largest chicken company in the world from 1990. Huge business, 170,000 employees. And they represent a potential opportunity now if they persist with their dividend. It was typically a low dividend in relation to profits already. So if they persist with a level in and around that same price, then that dividend at these prices represents a large percentage compared to the price of the stock itself. So that's a positive for people who want to invest in dividend stocks. It's also trading for less than its 10-year average, which would be a signal to some. So there's these things to be aware of, and we can't not talk about it because of the nature of grain and how cows are the news. Another thing we can't not talk about, I feel, is how Tyson treat the farmers and ranchers that supply them with the meat, which allows them to run their business. And over a number of years, they've demonstrated to rarely act in good faith. So if you are buying meat regularly, you would be well served to look up your local farmer or rancher and find out how it is that you could get meat direct, because they'd be only too happy to sell it to you. You might get it cheaper and it would definitely be better. So think about it. So Tyson Foods, they had this huge drop. The opportunity there in terms of dividend is good, but I think they need me on the board, really. And so yeah, you're looking at this on the 4-hour time frame and you can see that the RSI there very, very oversold. So perhaps there's a short-term opportunity as well. In terms of the daily, you could go a little bit further. Wouldn't rule that out. And then on the weekly time frame, you can see that it's come to these levels twice or 3 times within this trend. It's expanding, but it's bearishly divergent. And if it is to take a massive big drop, you can easily see it come down to $40. Test this prior low in around that low anyway. And then, if it was me and I was like looking for absolutely amazing retracements on this thing, I'd be looking at the 1.13 extension and around 38.50, and if that didn't hold $25, $20, a little bit extra, and then you've got your prior formation and where you found support within. So that's interesting. JS $50 for tomorrow, which is 8 minutes, 2 years, never missed a day. How's that? That's what never breaking the chain means, pal. Thanks, you are, pal. Cheers, JS. Great supporting me. Thanks so much. 2 years, Jess. It's brilliant, eh? 2 years. It's brilliant. It's amazing. It's actually amazing. Personally, I think it's amazing. I was never really good at attendance at anything. Rocky will tell you the truth. Like, our last 2 years of school was like 30% or something. So there's that. And then university, well, I was working like a number of jobs and trying to run businesses. So that helped with the grades, but because I was doing related subjects, but I was never really there until such times as I needed to be. So crazy to do 2 full years without ever missing a day, especially because of all the things that have happened. Anyway, talk about it all tomorrow. So, big gap there. Obviously, there's the gap to aim for, but you'd be very much catching a knife. And these are very sharp knives, right? Bovine, like this is a certain, it's a cleavery type, like it's a scary one from the movies where you don't really see them in your own kitchen. You see them in industrial kitchens, and you're like, oh my God, imagine the accidents. And they are. The accident, oh my God, the accidents. We got $50 from JS. That's pretty incredibles. Thanks so very much, JS. Thanks. Right. Couldn't do these shows without JS support and people like it. I mean, it's really crucial, because like it's only so every so often that happens. But like when it happens, and because it happens with the same sort of people so often, and that is only because of all of those instances that we're still here and we're able to make the 2 years. So that's why, man, if someone had been coming in and paying me money every so often to go to school, I'd have fucking been to school. Man, how's it going? Jamie, you are a giant among market analysts, intellectuals, and not elitists. So much respect for all your work and the community you build. Man, you're part of it. Thanks so much, buddy. Lucky to have you. See, lucky to have you. Respect goes waves both ways there for sure. Yes. I'm a one-man economic machine. Did you watch today's stream earlier? Bump. Well, there was 2, wasn't there? But they do anyway. So now there's this one, right? So, well, brilliant hell, heckin' shocking, brilliant. 1999. Thanks so very much. That's brilliant. Thanks, Moonman. JS, Moonman. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Right, so yeah, these extensions, Tyson Foods, but that's what wasn't why I was really here, actually, to be honest. I mean, some people have wondered, is this going to survive? And I'd say, it's like a 1272 extension, but probably like it's difficult. This has got so much opportunity here, right? This has got loads of opportunity if it doesn't completely and utterly get screwed. And what else did I want to talk about? I always do this because it's so late in the evening. Not that I've have like I'm being compelled to do these streams late. It's because I start as soon as the market's closed, and I didn't wait for the markets to close because I knew it was going to happen, right? But like I need screenshots of certain things to make the video. So, but I'm like sitting there like, yeah, we'll hurry up then, and and I'm not even trading myself because loads of different reasons. But I'm sitting there like I am most of the day, but then not at that point. And then I'm sitting there waiting for the markets to close, getting most of the edits ready that I think are ready, and then like writing out what the chat is for tomorrow and that, and then market's closed and I'm like, great, let's go. I'm going to be finished this at like 9:30, and then and this is going to be so good because I've did it like all week now, and I'm going to fly through this. And then I look at the clock and it's like 10:30, and I'm like, shit, I'm a whole hour late. And then I look at the clock and it's 12:30, and I'm like, oh shit. And then, well, I might as well just take extra time with this wee bit then, and then it's like 2:30 in the morning, and I don't know what time is it now. Yeah, well, now it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's like, right, so this is, I wasn't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about other things. Like, I'll just go back to this, right, because this is easy. This is what I'm interested in, especially on these time frames down. Is it early? We saw it, yeah, crossed above the 50 simple, and you got a relatively large move, which took you back above the 50% retracement and then closed there on the body and subsequently tested the 200 period moving average. You haven't lost the bullish control zone, which I like a lot about this move because you've previously tested the basis line within this channel. So the more bullish circumstances we get with which to provide, the surrounding environment, the ambience as we go through the next test, the better. And that's how you build, not technical momentum, but like people who get more interested again. They don't know why or understand it, and like there's a nebulous ignorance about those things. Nobody bothers articulating it if they conceptualizing it, never mind articulating it. And I say bother because they can't. And what they were saying here is the reason people will bound to get more excited, and I'm anticipating the people getting excited, is if GameStop manages to exceed that 200 period moving average, just stare us in the face. Well, that'd be great, and you come up and test resistance in around 21.80, 21.90, $2. And then might as well say it because the other two is $2.10. So that'd be great if we got that, and then you'd be looking left at the previous low. be back above this resistance here, that which previously was support and was the breakdown point, and all of that comes in at around that test, like in those three numbers I said. If it manages to break above that, yeah, brilliant. It's also the 200 period moving average. That's brilliant. On the 4 hour time frame, you'd have exceeded the 50 simple with a bullish formation, leaving these little gaps below. Right, that's all well and good. Maybe we do find resistance back up at around 25 and have to come back again. But like flicking hell, you know, I mean, if we're going to go back again, I'd rather go up there first, you know. What sort of a holiday is this anyway, you know? Right? It's like, right, stuff is butter. Right, so, hi everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And, yeah, so that's the GameStop. And then, I mean, I could have done more. Probably could have done more, like, you're back above a center line RSI, that's super positive, and you broke out that previous downward sloping resistance. So this is all about how far can it go, you know, the retracement back against that previous high. Draw it out again, show you this is the high, this is low, and you're looking for this move back up again. And that, right, so 22.14, 22.10, like these levels, right, that's why you really want to break that. You manage to do it, golden pocket retracement takes you up to 23.50, 24, amazing. Because you're downward sloping resistance, then you're meeting that at a 786. If you get an 886 retracement of the prior high, i.e. we're testing at its maximum there. Oh, can we hold? Will I hold? And that, and we're all out the back. You know, we're all out the back. Like, it's all like, can I hold? The shield, we're all out the back, like that there, you know. You know, like we've practiced, right? You know the drill. If you don't, what the fuck, right? Seriously. You better know. And so, yeah, we're all out the back doing that, and you know the muster points and whatnot because we've been through it so many times. And then so it's around day 86, and you manage to do that. Then congratulations, you passed the safety test. You get your license. You get your license order. Get your life in order. I was saying this before. Like people were always saying to me, like, you got Tradespotting, you need to go and get your life in order. And I was like, I don't know where. And I googled it. Where do I get my life in order? My life in order, like. And I was like, it must be at the council. Like they do all sorts of orders. Is there like a life in order? And I went up and I was like, guys, you got the life in order? And I went, what's this life in order thing? And they just like laughed me out of it, you know. And so it's a mystery, right? Like mankind, why is it a mystery? Well, we've been over that too. Mankind, no one knows what those two words mean, so no one knows what mankind means. Right, so there's 886 retracement. The muster point, you break above that, then you're really going somewhere, and somewhere you're going is $35, and that's GME. Whoa, AMC, whoa, ooh, in there over at this, there was 50 simples crossing above the 204. That's good to see. You're at the top of the downward sloping resistance, and, you know, looking left, you would say, though, well, you know, I'm not going to argue with it, but you're not in the bullish control zone right now, and there is divergence and whatnot, but you want a positive ambience when you're having these tests. So here's the test, and you've got a positive surroundings. You do actually not completely, because you've got that divergence. You've got this artifact below called a cross on 4 hour time frame between two important moving averages, and, you know, super likely that you test those typically, especially if you've got a clear level of resistance above, and that's pretty clear, that downward sloping diagonal. So, you know, if it does break, you've got targets below 430. That doesn't hold $4, but before all of that, the cross, the test of a really significant positive cross that resulted in the most bullish scenario and positive consequences subsequently would be that which is tested by price action. So although it might be counterintuitive and people would want a price action to break above this downward sloping diagonal on AMC, which we find on the 4 hour time frame, the truth is that if it did break up, it would fail at the previous high, and that is very, very close, right? That would be in around 670, which I say it's close. It's a whole 80 cents from where we are at the minute, which is significant double-digit percentages and whatnot. Is it? No. What? Yeah. Well, more. It's low. Oh, it suits you, sir. Right, that kind of level. But at the same time, if you're talking about like. Anyway, you probably aren't, but like if you're talking about longer than that, well, I mean, let's just say like cool, right? That, right? So great, there you go. Whoops, that's too much. Get out of town. Great, that's congratulations. But then what's the, you know, what subsequent to that? How does it prove itself? It doesn't, right? It's not actually done. Like it's not done anything yet. So what you really would see much more positive is something, instead of something that comes up here and then continues this overall trend and comes back to those $4.40 you'd rather see it is. It just doesn't even get up there, right? And it comes back and it tests this area where the cross is happening, probably like even more quicker than that, right? And then the 50 simple goes through that 200, price action catches the 50 or even better value, the 200, if it then goes up again and it turns back above previous levels of support, right? And if it doesn't even drop below 550, that sort of level ends up being support as the moving average goes through it, then you've got that level. Subsequently, if it goes lower and recovers it, then you've got that proving of itself. And then what you really want is price action to do with that, or a version of that that's perhaps slightly shorter. So, I mean, I could draw 2 arrows, but you've seen that one and we'll use it again. Recycle your arrows, folks, right? The polar bears need you or something, apparently. And then you go down there and you bounce off that. It'd be better, right? Or the cross, but we've had the arrow there. Remember, right? We just went through this, and then it goes up and breaks through that downward sloping horizontal, like, doesn't make sense, diagonal, and goes through the horizontal of the prior high from previous formation, and then makes it back up, and it tests its 786 or 886, which is marked out over here, right? They're both marked out over here. Congratulations, you spotted it. And that's in at around $8. That'd be great. 790, that's also historical level of resistance. So, stickiness in around these prices. So that's what we're thinking. All around there. Thanks very much. 17 months. Time flies, doesn't it? Hey, it does, doesn't it? Time's fun when you're eating flies. Rich out of bed to watch the show. The dedication he's showing me. Yes. On the other side of the planet, closer to the sun or something. I don't know. Is that what they said? They probably did think that back then, eh? They were probably like, I mean, Scots-Irish people, I think it's what makes America good crack and know what the chat is and all the rest of it. Sorry, everybody else. And but you probably the best blood in you'll be Scottish and Irish, and there's probably a little bit of it. And if there isn't, I can help you introduce you to some pretty quickly. So what were we talking about? Yeah, Scotland and Ireland. That's fantastic. It's so great. Anywho, so yeah, Scottish, they built America and that, thanks. Scotland, you're welcome, America. And so, after that conversation, what was it? We got onto that for some reason. It was Rich getting out of bed, eating flies. Yeah, it was the hard work. Oh, it was all inspiring, weird conversations, I'm sure. What was it? It was a simple thing. What was it, Rich? Yeah, so, I mean, we want AMC, good American institution. I don't think it was Scottish and Irish people built it. I mean, would they have been in the cinema business? It seems a little bit of a, no offense, but it seems a little bit too easy. We'll just stick on this. I mean, it's obviously we came up with all the stories, but then afterwards, Anyway, so probably off doing something useful. So you broke above that, yeah, fantastic, and then your target, yeah, we said all that, it was fantastic. Yeah, so do all that stuff. That's great. Do all that then, eh? And then hurry up and do it too, for goodness sake, and then go up more, for God's sake, eh? Because that's just not enough as it is. Let's be honest. What else are we looking at? What did anyone ask for? Nothing. Nobody asked for nothing. And we made it past 5 in the mornings. And you have an important update show to watch about SPY, because, whichever of those support or resistance levels it goes, when it's pick a direction, it's support and resistance on the other things that you might then ask me about, that'll become clearer. Wow. Going back for an immediately needed repeat, so may not be on time with you. And all the comments now, but cheers, huge cheers to everybody. That's nice, isn't it? Thanks very much. Dashy C. Thanks so much. You're amazing too, the people in that. I try to do the shows so that they're appealing, so that new people who find them see us in context and as our true selves. And also, I want them to be appealing so that new people who find the show choose to subscribe and get to know the content better and the message I'm trying to put across, because I have grand goals, whatnot. So it would be great if I was able to capture the attention of the new people who just maybe get recommended it on the off chance, or aren't even necessarily interested in this particular subject matter, but then see that there is great value in it and that I can explain things in a way that are entertaining. So get the new folks on board. If that's you, hit the subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching. And what else were we talking about? Yeah, so I think that was it, right? I think we've finished the show this evening, but there's more tomorrow, and tomorrow is the big 730 days of shows, but it's actually more. Somehow I've managed to do extra and stuff. Somehow. That's the live shows, plus we've done over 1,200 videos in the same amount of time. How's that even possible? Asking a lot of moves on my US 01, my crazy. A couple of weeks ago, 2-month forward rate was 6.6. You think it's going there? You could just look at TLT. I can do a quick wee glance at TLT for your body. Buddy. Oops, pardon me. Delete that last thing. So what we're thinking here, 4-hour time frame will do for the starts. Do for the starts. Ugh, drawings offski. Right, so 1, 2. You've got this like it's clear horizontal level in there around 109. What was the question? Oh, you're talking about the 1-year treasury. I've got that on here. I've got the bonds watch list. I've done stuff on for Patreon. I've got the 1-year. Nah. Right, so TLT. So let's start. I didn't mean that. Drawings. We'll start actually on the daily time frame. Oh, stop it, drawings. Stop it. So this is not yet a recovery, and that's got continuation divergence, but you've got your horizontal level of resistance, and if you did manage to break up, a clear level of inflection is in around this previous level of support, which is now resistance, and anything that opens and closes and opens above there, 109, that's significant on TLT. So, TLT. Just dynamite. No, it's been pretty crap, hasn't it? I mean, we've got a couple of different suggestions. Now the drawings can come back on. So, yeah, on the daily time frame, you had this downward sloping channel. You got through to this potential harmonic from this reaction. You'd like a... Yeah, so that's the thing. The problem with this is, like, it's a harmonic on the daily time frame, and it comes in line with a reversal formation, a potential reversal formation. Here, right, having given you a right hand shoulder, which we've marked out there, and this low, which was itself not bullishly divergent, perhaps on a lower time frame it was, but yeah, so you broke out having managed to recover back above the center line. You got your downward sloping resistance, you held back above that, you know, if I was to draw that line slightly better. And then, well, I mean, it's there for a reason. It's a different time frame. Yeah, you got back above it, you fell in here. It was a golden pocket retracement subsequently to that prior high. Held support. Risk is still on. You think that the... So you're looking to get, what was it? Rate? Were you talking about your yield, or what was it, capital? What were you saying? Asking a lot of moves on my US 1-year are crazy. A couple weeks ago, 2-month forward rate was 6.6. You think it's going there? I think TLT might give you an indication. This 236. I'm going to borrow that. At least I think I've already used it once. Where's that coming from? Way back when. I don't need you to like just go out. Everybody get out of here. Right. So, why have I got these shivers? Right. So you got your. I've already used him. Whatever. So yeah, it's a 105. It's still the same, right? You get back above your 200 period moving average on the daily. You've also held your 236 at that stage on weekly time frames, and your harmonic there doesn't necessarily get a double test because you've gone out of what looks like a little bit like a bump and run, not completely, and you've managed to hold that support, having broken through downward sloping diagonal, found horizontal. So it's like you all need to break above that level, like 109. 105 is not enough, right? Yo, 105 is not enough because it's come out of this trend and it's gone sideways price action. You know, that's what this, there it is. It might be that, right? It might just be that sideways price action you're looking at there for a while, in which case you could get something to test back up at around 109, and then maybe you're looking at something positive yourself. This is the target to look to on a TLT for yourself there, and if it does break higher and you're still in it, then you look at that. But I think it'd be a little bit dodgy on the 1 year. Like, we can confirm it over here with move, yo. So I mean, volatility is back, yo. Probably, you know, to get back above center line there. Shit's happening again. You know, maybe you're in luck there, eh? When did you take the trade? I mean, if you had it 2 weeks ago. I mean, yeah, everything looks like the same there. Why is that? Why is they sputter? Sputter. It's not going to give me anything lower than a daily. That's why sputter. Right, so you're looking for this thing to pick up again, right? I mean, you will be. 10-year. I was looking at these earlier for the show that we just saw. Maybe you didn't see it, actually. Get out of face extra arrows all the time. There should be some like trigger thing where you have to hold it down for it. Whatever. This mouse should have one of them. 50 simples through the 200 there. Price action's held it. It's also sideways. 5-year similar situation. Maybe you're looking at this as well, right? I mean, 2-1. Yeah, you probably are. It's a similar situation with that support line. What was this on? Was this on something at the end of the last show? VIX. Yeah, at the end of the last show. The end of the previous show that was just out there, the market update. It's an 8-minute show. It's really worth watching, I think. On that show, we the VIX, the support line that was going underneath, the support trend line that was going underneath on the 4-hour. This guy here, similar situation here. If this breaks up, you probably get an early signal, not necessarily TLT, but you'd be looking at like the 1-hour and the 4-hour VIX. And if you see that move, you'll get correlation on this guy. And you want it to be breaking 113. And 113, you know what I mean? And then you want it to go back then 101. And then, right, anyway, I'm going to stop saying stupid numbers, right? But you know what I mean? You saw the horizontals as I was saying anything. Right, so that's what I'd do, to be honest. I'd be looking at VIX 1 hour if I'm, because you know how it was working at the minute. The dynamic is the bonds, and then that's like throughput for the liquidity, right? Because there's a liquidity problem. So last week, the Fed announced that they were new facilities for banks because there's a problem with regional banks. So that, because regional banks, right? Oh, God, it's so annoying, right? So start at the start. If you're an American bank, then it's different from Britain and Europe. You've got these things called regional banks, and they provide loads of the loans and credit facilities for the states and the businesses in them all across America, right? This federal distribution, the trickle, that's how it goes down, right? That's the hierarchy. And then you've got like the Federal Reserve, and you've got like bigger banks. And so a certain level of banks, depending on how many government bonds they hold and then their overall collateral position, they're allowed to draw from primary credit reserves at the Fed, which mean that they can borrow money at a cheaper rate than other banks, and they can borrow it for a longer period at cheaper rates. Like most banks then are available to borrow money from the discount window, and then some are able to borrow it from overnight overdrafts, and then the seasonal overdrafts, and then there's various credit facilities. And the smaller a bank you are, the more expensive it is for you to borrow money, and the more of a squeeze is being put on you because of capital outflows and the nature of how it is that banks themselves capitalize and the flow of money through these financial institutions, right? Because it's very positive when the interest rate goes up for the retail accounts, but they're, to this point, since the post-2008 economic landscape, they're also credit defaulted up the wazoo that actual cash flow at banks is tiny, and like the free money, you know, the free money that was all around, the banks managed to disappear it, right? They're the labracadabradors. They managed to disappear it all. Anyway, so the long story short, what I'm trying to talk about is the banks have not got enough money, especially the regional banks. So the Federal Reserve has announced these new facilities, and they're going to borrow on them. And in order to do that, the Fed is first buying back their treasury bonds that the banks bought off them, and they're buying them back off these regional banks at the price that the price they are, right? Which is a lot cheaper than they previously were, because the rates have gone up, which the Fed did, right? So the Fed put the rates up, so the price of the bonds goes down, so the banks are in distress, so the Fed buy them back. Brilliant, right? If you're the Fed, it's the best fucking business in the world. And what's anyone going to do? Very little, right? Nothing. Going to do nothing. And we're going to start a new currency. No, you're not. We're going to do this. We're going to get Argentina, and they're going to help us. No, they aren't. They've never helped anyone ever, right? We're going to get India. They've got loads of people in India. You mean if you've met India, right? Nah, they're not going to help you. Like, they'll string you along, right enough, right? Get a great deal out of you. They'll get an amazing deal. They're like the Chinese deal makers of the 1990s. They get the best possible deal going, or they're not interested. And then when they've agreed it, they still renegotiate for like better terms again, anyway. And they're great at it. So they're not going to help anyone apart from themselves, and they're going to be damn good at it. And more power to them. And then so who else? Like Russia, right? Okay, good one. Give it a couple of months and we'll talk about that. And then, well, China, yeah, I mean, sure. A big fan, actually. Yeah, they'll do all right. But they're not going to be able to, like, usurp the hegemony on their own, are they? Don't be silly, right? Especially not when they couple themselves with people like Sri Lanka, Argentina. It's ridiculous, right? You can get your aircraft carriers, right? You get loads of them, right? You get, like, you get 20 of them. Amazing, wouldn't it? But I mean, you're not going to be able to go very far. And like, if you stick like, there's only like 3 critical straits into China. You stick an aircraft carrier in any one of them, that's game over. Anyway, and they've got a huge, massive one in Taiwan there. So there's other concerns. Anyway, so the money, right, goes back through the banks, goes back to the Fed, goes back to the banks, goes back to the Fed, and it's all in bonds. So the way that you see those bonds is the price of them goes up and down depending on how much money they'll give you to hold on to the thing, right? Because ultimately it's called a risk-free investment. You're supposed to just get your money back over the term and lend the government money because you're a good citizen and, you know, whatnot. You also don't want to be, you know, devalued in terms of inflation. So you want your or like the wild moves in the stock market and whatnot, pardon me. So you want to be taking your money out of equities and put it into these risk-free investments when the stock market's screwed, so that they get really cheap again, so that the Fed can like buy them off. You know, anyway, so that's how the world works. And if it didn't work like that, you'd have to come up with a better way, which nobody's managed yet. So we could talk about it more as well. We certainly will do. Have you seen the World War Bitcoin channel? Like, oh, I've got another episode of that coming soon. Oh, you love that, wouldn't you? You will. You definitely will. So if the bonds are screwed, this is what you want to be looking at. These are the ones, the toxic bonds. These are the toxic bonds, corporate bonds, which, you know, in the face of rising rates, you would expect to go completely through the floor, especially if the companies that have issued these have got poor earnings, because where's the shareholder value going to be eroded, like right there, really quickly in your corporate bonds? Like, thank you very much. And then their warrants, you've got a if they've got a highly geared company, especially if they're relying on warrants, then you want to be looking at the triggers in that. Anywho, this is way too intense. What time is it now? 5:21. See, this is what happens. This is what happens. Thank you very much, everybody. What did I miss? Moonman 1999. That was previously, and I don't see anything here. And it's late in the evening for most of my viewers that aren't in the Southern Hemisphere. Shout out all those South Coastonians. Thanks for sticking with me too when it's been such a regular scheduling for yourselves. So what was I thinking? Aye. Probably not that I meant. Right. Looking at US 01, it's an insane move, especially compared to how stable 2-year, 10-year have been. Thinking of you're looking at the 1 month, thinking of implication for things like SPY and everything else. Well, if you're looking at 1 month, you definitely want to be looking at VIX implications for SPY. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, but there's an interesting dynamic. Aye, BB on HYG spreads are getting very tight. Anywho, I appreciate it so much. Thank you very, very much, Jonathan Martin. Jonathan Martin, truly welcome, mate. Cheers. So interesting dynamic there. You were obviously talking more specifically. Yeah, well, like that'll be great to see how that trade works out. I'm interested, and I'm interested to see how it matches up with VIX. And I'm also going to now go off to. Well, I thought it was sleep, but we'll see what happens. People walking their dog already. What the hell are you doing walking your dog, you lunatics? That dog's going to get in that routine now. It's not a Labrador. It's going to get stuck in that routine, you lunatic. Anyway, so I hope they're all right. So, yeah, excellent. Hope yous are all right. Tomorrow, the big one. And watch that stream, that earlier show. It's brilliant. Honestly, it's really good. It's designed to be a pre-market show for tomorrow, but like it's made now, so it's out. And they're all going to be like that. Try to get them out, so that when America wakes up, it's there. Because that's where all the viewers are, innit? It's also, you know, where all the stocks are. Right, thanks very much. See you tomorrow. Where's the off button? That'll help me out. The off button will help. Hit the like button. That's when you want the like button. Thanks. JS, Moonman, thanks. Lisa, always.